With Diddy arrested and sitting inside a jail, new reports of how his life has been behind bars would come to light. To understand his new circumstances, you first need to hear why he is now in a top-level security jail cell. As the famous rap lawyer would explain,
I'm going to tell you the craziest thing about Diddy being locked up right now, facing mandatory minimums, the possibility of life in federal prison. Go read the transcript from the bond hearing and listen to what the defense says they believe is the start of the feds looking into P Diddy. See, the defense says, my read of it, many months ago, a woman approaches Diddy and says, hey, this is through lawyers, we're gonna be releasing a tell-all book about this woman's experience with Diddy over all the years. And it's gonna make you look like a monster. And if you don't want that book to get out there, you can buy the exclusive rights to it for $30 million. Catch and this book. Diddy's team says no. Woman comes back with a lawyer. We're going to file a civil lawsuit against you because it's not just stuff that makes for good print. These are civil claims that we can bring and we can win millions of dollars. Diddy's team says, okay, bring the lawsuit.
With Diddy's lawyers believing that there is nothing truly wrong about their client and having his lawyers tell the ex-girlfriend to go ahead, submit all of the lawsuits you want, show the book of evidence she has, well, she ended up doing it. Then hours later, he would have paid up the $30 million, as what was written in those evidence files is truly disturbing.
They bring the lawsuit and within like hours, it's settled for, surprise, surprise, $30 million. After those things happened, a line of people came with stories to get their check too. Hey, if she got 30 mil, what can I get off this guy? I was there, I saw this, I heard that. And that then led to a federal investigation. See, people think, oh, somebody's out to get him. He pissed off the wrong person. It's the alcohol company that, nah, you guys got to understand that there's prosecutors out there who want big C cases. They don't fall out of the sky every day. The chance to go after somebody like P Diddy and put him away for life is like the greatest case you could ever find if you're a prosecutor. And so when a public filing gets released and you read it and you go, wait a second, that law firm is mad thorough. Wait a second, he settled it for 30 million. Wait a second. If all of this is true, then I could probably get some subpoenas. I could probably collect some evidence. I could probably build a case. They start doing.
As the books of evidence against Diddy makes him a very high priority federal criminal. When becoming this high of a criminal, they can only be placed into certain jails. Jails that have 10 walls of defense of the chance of a criminal somehow escaping it. Diddy is being held in the Brooklyn Federal Jail on a 23-hour hold with a 1-hour free time per day. However, here's where it gets concerning. When reports would come out that this is already affecting Diddy, as it would be announced, Diddy has been placed on a routine S-word watch at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. TMZ reports Mark, Diddy's attorney, said that the music mogul was not at all S-word while they were together in federal lockup yesterday. As today, this all completely changed, making many people online make fun of Diddy for committing the crimes that he did, but barely lasting 1 day inside a jail. This would even get the attention of Charleston White, who would go on to say this.
Me and Diddy, his son's girlfriend. Come on, homie. I f***ing his son's girlfriend. Oh, he a sick motherfucker. The Bible describes evil people being in high places like Puff Daddy. Evil don't exist down here. It exists up here. It lurks down here, but it exists up here. And we're all of us down here trying to go up there with evil.
Right.
Almost everything up here is evil. Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, you can't get up here if you ain't evil. It's a glass ceiling for those that's not evil. You can only go that high if you evil.
As Charleston would also reveal the new documents against Diddy. When starting a RICO case, everything gets outlined in a specific document. I was able to pull the file from the courtroom, and it starts, and I quote, Sean Diddy Combs, a prominent figure in the music industry, was arrested on serious federal charges, including violations of the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, otherwise known as RICO, as well as charges of trafficking. His arrest followed a grand jury indictment indictment that claims that he operated as a criminal enterprise for over a decade. The allegations against Diddy paint a disturbing picture of an empire built on not just music, but also on illegal activities such as trafficking, forced labor, and unspeakable acts with many people, as confirmed by the amazing Not a Lawyer creator giving more detail.
According to the New York Times, Sean Combs, aka Diddy, was arrested after a grand jury indicted him. The indictment is sealed and the charges have not been announced yet, so we gonna have to wait and see for some docs to come out. But for now, it's been confirmed that Diddy is in federal custody. A statement from Diddy's legal team says that they were disappointed with the decision to prosecute Diddy and noted that he had been cooperative with the investigation and had voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Diddy is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community.
As she explains that Diddy gave himself up, living in a hotel in New York City, so if the feds ever wanted him arrested, he was nearby. This makes him seem very confident that he's gonna beat the case in the end. However, a report from a former Bad Boy artist would speak on Diddy's recent arrest, and he would say that Diddy destroyed his life.
When I was a 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life.
As moments after his arrest, his mansion was raided. What they found went viral online as it would be announced. The Diddy indictment references what was seized during the raids at his homes in Beverly Hills in Miami. Various supplies, including narcotics, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil. They also seized firearms, including firearms with defaced serial numbers, making them extremely illegal in the United States. This is when this photo would go viral. A mansion bathroom filled to the brim with baby oil, covering over half of the floor. With this making the rounds online, we would then see 50 Cent react, saying, and I quote, "I am keeping good company with the Barry Show, and I also don't have 1,000 bottles at the house," making the situation go crazy. But this is where things would get scary. Diddy's lawyer would go and speak out, saying, Diddy's lawyer says that he's expecting the unsealed indictment to have trafficking and racketeering charges, and admits that Diddy came to New York to turn himself into the cops on an agreeable time with the U.S. Attorney's Office, but he would end up getting arrested unexpectedly. He says that he will push for bail for Diddy. Now, the RICO charges are especially significant here. They imply that Diddy was not acting alone, but as the head of a much larger, organized criminal operation. This enterprise allegedly used demands, targeting, and manipulation to go after people. Key accusations including parties labeled as a freak-off, where people were pressured into certain activities. Also, while being under the influence of extracurricular items. But what Diddy did next was disturbing, as he would end up filming all of the actions he has ever done and used it as leverage for anyone to not tell against him. This is also including artists in the music industry that haven't said a word, with fear that any sort of video on them would be released. Diddy is also accused of orchestrating interstate and international transportation of people. The RICO statute, originally designed to tackle organized crime, ends up making Diddy's situation even more concerning, as it allows prosecutors to target the broader network of involved people, as Diddy is facing 3 original charges, with them all being:
Count 1 is for racketeering conspiracy, and according to this website, for a racketeering conspiracy charge, the government does not have to prove that the alleged enterprise was actually established, only that you, along with others, conspired or agreed to participate in the enterprise. Count 2 is for trafficking by force, fraud, or and then count 3 is transportation to engage in.
However, included in his indictment was a no bail agreement. Allegedly, this has only ever happened a handful of times against criminals in the United States. It is only brought out when the criminal did the extreme of the extreme level crimes.
Now, what has also been made public today is the detention memo, which is basically a letter from the government to the judge explaining why Diddy should be held in jail and not released on bond. It's about 16 pages, and there are a few few things that I want to talk about from this letter. First up, it says that he's expected to appear in court today, and worth noting, this is a federal case, so don't expect any cameras. And the document says, as set forth below, there is no condition or combination of conditions that will reasonably assure the appearance of the defendant as required and the safety of others and the community, not to mention the integrity of the proceedings. So again, this letter is to basically argue why Diddy should be held in jail and not released to the public.
When only a few hours later, the judge would make his official announcement following Diddy's bail, which ended up going viral online.
Judge has decided that Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka Diddy, aka P Diddy, aka PD, will remain detained, as in he gotta stay in jail until his trial. Now again, since federal cases are not streamed, there are some reporters in the courtroom that were providing updates on X, so that's who I'm going to use. Then the judge comes back and rules that in this case, I find the presumption has not been rebutted, so Sean Combs will remain detained. The judge goes on to say there has been significant violence and weapons around. Also, witnesses, even gentle coercion can be effective. The type of behavior we're talking about happens behind closed doors. I thank your family members for coming, but I cannot release him.
What's also concerning is the case could bring in multiple other individuals who played roles in Diddy's alleged criminal organization. Federal prosecutors have presented what they claim is overwhelming evidence, including testimony from multiple people with extensive physical evidence seized during the raids at Diddy's homes. As people involved, many major artists in the industry took part in all of these Diddy parties, from government officials, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, Birdman, and even allegedly LeBron James, who would mention on an Instagram live that there is no party like a Diddy party. But comment down below everyone you believe was involved in Diddy's crimes.